This young and hungry Denver Broncos team is responding to last night's gut-wrenching loss to the Cincinnati Bengals even better than I had hoped for, and that's why I'm confident that we are still going to make the playoffs, and we are still going to make some noise in the playoffs. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me and the YouTube algorithm out a lot if you still believe in this team, if you would like and subscribe. We know we've had 3 shots at this, win and we are in. We have swung and missed at 2 of those. Sean Payton purposely flexed the game into Thursday night so we would have more time to win last night, and we just did not get it done. And so you could easily see a world where players are tucking their tail between their legs, that they are discouraged, that they are mopey, that they have given up on the season. We saw it from the Chicago Bears, who still have not won a game since they lost gut-wrenching fashion to the Washington Commanders on that Hail Mary. They tanked their season. Their quarterback is washed and dead, and so you could see a world where, hey, man, we jump back after having a field goal blocked, but this was just too much to go into overtime with Burrow, have that field goal clang off the upright. Like, man, that's just too much. And you see 0 of that. You see 0 signs of quit from this team, from head coach on down. So seeing Sean Payton, first thing he said when he got to the podium was like, I'm insanely proud of these dudes in the fight that they had. We then see Zach Allen like, hey, do you feel any different about this? Like, you've had 3 shots at it and now you're down to just 1. Do you feel any added pressure? And he just looks right at the camera and he's like, nope, not at all. Like, I feel 0 pressure. We're going to go and get this whole thing done. We're going to turn the page on Monday and we're going to get this done. We're going to beat the Chiefs, especially since it's beating the Chiefs backups. We beat them at home last year with a quarterback that Sean Payton despised so much that Sean Payton paid more NFL dead cap money to have Russell Wilson play on another team than any other time in NFL history. So I'm telling you, the Broncos are going to beat the Chiefs next week. We see Bo Nix and how he responded. Like, does he have any quit or like blaming anyone else or blaming any play calling? No, he's just said his first words that he said was like, it was actually a lot of fun. Going toe to toe with Joe Burrow was a lot of fun. And he came out and was like, you know, I actually feel like I let the team down and I'm going to keep practicing it in a way that I don't ever let the team down again. That's the resolve you want to see. And Bo Nix, like, you did nothing. You have been the opposite of letting this team down. You have, put yourself in NFL history as one of the best seasons a rookie quarterback has ever had. Full stop. You look here that he is now at 30 touchdowns that Bo Nix has accounted for, tying Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, and Russell Wilson, and Peyton Manning. So an incredible rookie season, especially when you consider the fact that we didn't even know if Bo Nix was going to start this season as the Broncos quarterback. We had a quarterback competition coming into camp. I had a cool interview with Cecil Lammey during the offseason, and we debated like, hey, what is the purpose of this season? We're only expected to win 5 games. And we both agreed that the purpose of this season was to figure out, is Bo Nix the quarterback of the future? And when are we going to see him? Is he going to start with Seattle, or is that why we paid Jarrett Stidham? And he started week 1, and he has gotten better each and every week. And you saw that on full display last night. One of the reasons that last night was so gut-wrenching was the fact that you just look at how Bo Nix played when he goes against 2 former league MVPs in Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and loses. None of the blame coming to him. Like, none of that loss last night can be pinned on Bo Nix. He played insanely well. Whether you take a look here when he's yeeting it from the 40-yard line all the way to 9 yards deep in the end zone, the longest throw in league across all teams this entire year. Like, that was a wild throw. And I honestly think that was probably the second best throw of the entire night, the second best completion to Marvin Mims, the one that he completed with 8 seconds left when he drove the length of the field to push this game into overtime. Like, Bo Nix has stepped up to the bar and the expectations that we have, and then he has blown the ceiling off of our expectations for this season. If you take a look at how Bo Nix has played over these past 2 weeks, when it is a win and you are in the playoffs, we couldn't ask for any better. Like, even if he was in year 3, in year 4 of his NFL career, we still would be thrilled with how he's playing. And he is doing this as a rookie. He's doing this in 16 games as an NFL starter. And it's wild that over these past 2 weeks against an incredible Los Angeles Chargers defense, he's almost thrown for 500 yards, 5 passing touchdowns, 1 interception as things were getting kind of close to the end there. And it really was not Bo Nix letting us down whatsoever. It was the Broncos defense letting us down. So seeing how he's playing, seeing Chase Daniels, former NFL quarterbacks, coming out and being like, hey, you know what? The Broncos weren't expected to make any noise. They still will make noise, guys, but we got to take the victories where they are. And Chase Daniels coming out and saying this was a huge game for Bo Nix to do that when the lights were the brightest. Watching that game last night, it felt like 4 or 5 games because it was different. It was a playoff atmosphere, which means things are very strange. It doesn't feel like a regular season game, and we saw Bo Nix rise to the occasion last night, and that should make us all thrilled and excited for the future. Seeing here, I think the best is still out in front of us. Our defense is even better than it was last year. And last year, you remember that Sean Payton beat the Bills in Buffalo, even after the Bills had just done a players-only meeting, even after Von Miller had huddled all those dudes together, and they had to win that game. And the Broncos went in with a quarterback Sean Payton didn't even like, and they beat the Bills. And the Bills moved on from Stephon Diggs. They've got a bunch of injuries. I think the Broncos match up extremely well with the Buffalo Bills, and we're still going to make the playoffs. Seeing the accountability that players took, and they weren't pointing fingers or blaming coaches or play calls or anything. Hearing Riley Moss come out and be like, yeah, I did not play well, and sometimes you got to eat a poop sandwich, and you got to own it. And then hearing Pat Surtain come right out afterwards and say, yeah, Riley Moss didn't play his best game, but I promise you he will make a play next week. And hearing Riley Moss and Pat Surtain both say, we're not worried because we got more football to play. That doesn't mean one game. More football implies way beyond that. And this young core, I'm more confident than ever that over these next 5 years with this young core and with Sean Payton as the head coach, that these Denver Broncos will win a Super Bowl because we are doing this with more dead cap hit than any other team in NFL history. We're doing this without the first-round picks we lost out for Russell Wilson. We're doing this without the first-round picks we lost out because we had to trade for Sean Payton. So we have all of our picks. We got David Shaw in the front office helping us find new fits for this. And we have the bulk of Russell Wilson's dead cap hit in our rearview mirror, and the future is bright for the next 5 years, and the future is bright for the next several weeks as the Broncos are still going to make the playoffs. If you take a look here at kind of some of the predictions here, even with that loss last night in gut-wrenching fashion, the Broncos are still sitting at a 61% chance at making the playoffs this year. And if I'd have told you last year on Christmas Eve when Russell Wilson lost to the pitiful, banged-up, injured New England Patriots at home on Christmas Eve, if I'd have told you that a year from now we'll be playing the Chiefs at home with their backups with a chance to make the playoffs, you would have been out of your mind excited. And so put yourself in those shoes and just know that we have a great coach when it comes to acquiring talent, a great coach when it comes to setting a culture. And yes, he needs to do some minor improvements when it comes to clock management and should we have gone for 2? Like, what should we like? No coach can be fantastic at every single aspect of the job, and I love the aspects of the job that Sean Payton is a lead at. And I'm going to focus on those strengths and not worry about these little deficits because Sean Payton has already proven he can win a Super Bowl. He is going to do it with this young nucleus and this young core. So let me know, how are you feeling about the Broncos moving into next week? Got a great week of content here. Going to interview an insider with the Kansas City Chiefs about what to expect with Carson Wentz, who else will be sitting out, and then doing some other interviews when it comes to how does our matchup with the Buffalo Bills look just a few weeks after that. Thank you all for riding with me, and Broncos country, we've got a ton to believe in.